Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times to discuss movies. Today I'm here to talk to you about everything that I watched in the month of April.
It's coffee time.
So sadly in April I didn't have so much time to catch up with a lot of horror that I want to watch. So a lot of the movies that I watched were actually not horror, which is a sad story. So I'm hoping to catch up with horror in the next couple of months because there is a lot that I still need to see. It's mostly kind of like not so well-known movies that I have in multiple platforms on my watch list. So I'm gonna try my best to get to those so I can give you some, thoughts on those movies, since what I like to watch and talk about the most is horror. But nevertheless, I'm here to let you know everything that I watched in April. I didn't watch that much either. It's been a busy month for me. But anyways, we're going to take a look at my Letterboxd account to see all the movies, everything that I logged there. And then I actually only watched 2 TV shows this month, so also not much, but I'll be addressing those at the end of the video. Alright, so let's scroll to the very beginning of the month, and I finally watched Halloween Kills. It has been so long since the movie came out and I have not been able to watch it, so I finally sat down and watched it. Now, was it my favorite Halloween ever? No. But I did have a lot of fun with this movie. I feel like it kind of has this second book or a second movie in a trilogy kind of flavor, in which they are building up something and at the end of the movie you don't really have a resolution, so it feels a little bit unfinished. But I did get some of the flavor of that first Halloween movie, with the trick-or-treating Halloween vibe, the cozy atmosphere, and I was there for all of those really nice kills. And I did feel like this was Michael in a way. Like, a lot of people didn't really enjoy this movie and I completely agree with their points, but for me, I thought it was a lot of fun, and I think I actually enjoyed it a little bit more than Halloween from 2018, so don't come at me. But these are not my favorite Halloween movies. I feel like it's really hard to do something like the original and have that impact, but I still enjoyed it. Before I forget, the very last day of March, I did go to the movies to watch Studio 666, and I was not able to include it on my previous video wrap-up. So just to let you know, I do have a review of that one, and it's a lot of fun, but I feel like you're only going to enjoy it if you like the Foo Fighters, if you like Dave, and if you are open to a lot of humor and not great acting. But it was just a lot of fun, which I think was also kind of the purpose of the movie. And I love to see John Carpenter doing a cameo. He also cooperated to do the movie, so yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Alright, so after Studio 666, which I watched at the very end of March, and Halloween Kills, I continued my Harry Potter marathon in preparation for the new Fantastic Beasts movie. So I watched Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Twins, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, and then I rewatched Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and I felt the same feelings that I had the first time I watched the movie, which is that none of the characters were really like standing out for me, and I was a little bit bored with the movie. It was just too long. I was not really invested, and I had the same feeling the second time around. Then I watched this documentary, Harry Potter 20th Anniversary Return to Hogwarts in HBO, because I do really love all the movies, like the original Harry Potter movies, not the spin-offs. And I just wanted to see, the actors and everybody talking about their experience. And, it's a really nice documentary if you like Harry Potter, obviously. Then I watched The Northman. It's one of my favorite movies now. I went to the sneak preview in the cinema here. I love that they offer that option so you can go and get surprised and don't know what you're gonna see. And when I saw the opening of the film and I realized really quickly that it was The Northman, I nearly died because I was just so excited to be able to see the new Robert Eggers movie, and on top of that to see it before other people here. I was just really excited. I do have a spoiler-free video of this, so if you want to hear my in-depth thoughts about the movie, check it out. but I will tell you that even though this movie is a little bit more approachable for all audiences than the previous Robert Eggers movies, this was such an epic Viking tale. It was so well executed. The cinematography, the acting, everything was just top notch. All of the long takes without breaks, without, you know, editing it, it was just chef's kiss. And after that masterpiece, magnificent movie, I watched Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. I don't even know what I bothered to rewatch these Fantastic Beasts movies because they're just so forgettable, you know. It's just really sad for me because I do love the Harry Potter universe, and when they announced Fantastic Beasts, I was really excited to get something new from the universe. But honestly, these movies have been so forgettable and so generic that I just cannot really relate to the characters as I wanted to. So yeah, these ones sadly are not my favorite. But anyways, I rewatched that one to get ready for part 3. So obviously I went to see then Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore, and I already went bitter to this movie because they had removed Johnny Depp from the movie, and I was already pissed about it. I love Mark Nicholson, I love him, and I think he was the best thing about this movie, to be honest. So, you know, at least the one they chose to replace Johnny was somebody that could really bring the character alive. But still, I didn't like it to see him replaced for no reason. And yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I love the Harry Potter franchise, but when it comes to the Fantastic Beasts movies, I just feel like you really need to be into them, I guess. But for me, they're just too slow, too boring, too dragging. And my major issue here is that all the kind of main characters are not really relatable, all characters that are really strong to carry a franchise, and I think that's one of the biggest issues. But then we went to have some fun at the movies and we watched Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So when I was a kid, I got my first console, which was a Master System 2, a Sega Master System 2, and one of my first games that I ever bought or played was Sonic 2. And I've always loved the characters, so I was really excited to see these movies. And you know, I gotta tell you, these movies are gonna be for people that either are nostalgic about the franchise or for kids. But they're not the best movies out there. It's really hard to make movies about video games, we all know that. And especially when you have characters like Sonic, which is not easy to design, as we have seen in previous pictures before the first movie came out. What I liked about Sonic 2 is that even though we did follow the same pattern that the first movie had, we have Robotnik as the villain, and we have him coming back to chase Sonic on Earth, but we do get Knuckles. And we get other characters that are really interesting. Knuckles is a character that I really wanted to see, and it was my favorite in this movie. Tails was really cute as well, but I feel like Knuckles won my heart in this movie. I think my biggest issue with part 2 was that the human characters have a lot of screen time. Especially there is a huge part about an island and like some kind of festivities that happen there, and they take a long time with these characters. And I gotta tell you, it was funny, like the jokes landed, I laughed, but I go to see Sonic to see, you know, Sonic and Knuckles and Tails and spend more time with them. So that would be kind of my major critique. Moving on with Murder on the Orient Express. So I finally read the book this month of April, so I wanted to check out the movie. And you know, I enjoyed the movie, but it was kind of dragging for me as well. It was not, I guess, as dynamic and as well paced as I had expected, perhaps. I feel like the book had a better pacing, and I feel like the book does a better job to present you with all of the facts and all of the theories, and does a better job at the interviews that the movie does. I feel like this movie is only gonna be for people that actually really enjoy Hercule Poirot in Agatha Christie's books, but it might not be for everybody. Then I watched Reminiscence. So this movie, the first time I tried to watch it, I fell asleep. So I gave it another go, and this could have been such an interesting sci-fi neo-noir kind of film, but I feel like they didn't quite deliver what I was expecting from the movie, and it was really dragging for me. Another one where I feel like the pacing and the jumps in time with the memories and all of that were not beneficial to the film. And yeah, it kind of, this one really hurt me a little bit because I really did enjoy kind of the concept of the film and the theme that they had. But at the end of the day, I didn't really enjoy it as much as I hoped. Now, moving on with Moonshot, which was also recently released, and I decided to give it a shot, knowing exactly what I was gonna get myself into. I had no expectations. It is just about, you know, humanity now offers the possibility of people to travel to Mars, and only people that have a lot of money or that have been accepted to specific programs are able to go there. So we follow two teenagers that have their own personal reasons, both of them, to want to get to Mars no matter what. And it was kind of like a cheesy romantic comedy. I feel like the sci-fi part of it was a little bit missing. Like, could not be found really. So I kind of wish they would have accepted that sci-fi part of the movie a little bit more, and they would have actually shown us a lot more than they did. And because I still try to watch as many new releases as possible, I did watch Dancing on Glass. I believe I watched this one on Netflix, and it is a Spanish film, which kind of felt like a, you know, Black Swan kind of take when it comes to the movie, because it follows ballerinas that are really competing against each other, and it shows like all the drama, the suffering, the pain, the backstabbing, how far they would go in order to get the part. So it kind of shows all of the ugly sides of what it means to be in a ballet, what it means to be a professional dancer. It was alright, but I felt like it was nothing that I had not seen before. Even the reveals and stuff, I felt like it's something that I have seen before. But yeah, if you love ballet, I think it's still worth a watch, because that's also part of why I watched it. I love to see this kind of thrillers or dramas where we follow like skaters, like ice skaters or ballet dancers, because I find that art, like that kind of sport, really interesting. And then I went to see one of the best movies of the year. Can you guess which one it was? The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nick Cage. So Nicolas Cage here plays himself, Nick Cage. And I was so excited to go and watch this movie. I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew this was just gonna be fun and just kind of reminiscence of Nicolas Cage's career. I absolutely loved how they portrayed what it means actually to be an actor. It's not always a bright side, and being always working has you know, it affects your relationship with your family, but also you need to work because you need to get money, and also what it means to be an older actor in Hollywood and not being able to get the parts that you want anymore. So Nicolas Cage in this movie plays himself as a struggling actor that is not really getting the jobs that he wants, and then he gets this gig to basically to show up at a party of a fan of his, and they're gonna pay him a lot of money, so he decides to do it because he needs the money. And the party is being thrown by Pedro Pascal, who is the biggest Nicolas Cage fan and also could be a possible drug lord. So that's where the thriller action part comes here into play. And I gotta tell you, this movie was fantastic. Pedro Pascal was absolutely fantastic. He was so great in this movie. I feel like this is gonna be great for people that, as me, really like Nicolas Cage as an actor. And it is a lot of fun, you guys. Definitely watch it. I'm definitely gonna rewatch this one, and it has been one of the funniest things I've seen in the movie for a bit. Next we have See For Me, which is a movie that I found on Netflix. I do have a spoiler-free review about this one. It follows a blind girl that it is basically house sitting while a rich woman is on holidays, and then one night where she's in the house alone by herself, basically there is a break-in and some people want to come and steal some stuff, so there is a home invasion situation here going on. But things are not as they seem in this movie. I really appreciated that they were trying to bring something a little bit new, because there is an app that our main character uses called See For Me, where she can call, basically it's like calling 911, and somebody assists you and tells you where you are, where you can see where you are in a situation where you need help or if you are in danger. So I love that they brought that kind of technology aspect into it, and we have a legally blind main character who in real life, you know, the actress is also legally blind, so I really did enjoy the movie. And then we went to watch The Lost City, which was a movie I was really excited to go and see, because this one, again, I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew I was just going for fun and giggles and just to have a really good time. And boy, did I have a really good time with this movie. It's actually a lot better than I anticipated with the poster, which is glorious. It follows basically Sandra Bullock, who plays a writer of this typical, you know, fantasy romance novels. And she integrates a lot of history and archaeology into her books, because that was her job before. So she has a lot of fans and she has a lot of people wanting more of those books, but she kind of has lost the spark, the inspiration, and she gets herself a little bit into a pickle, and she's being brought to this island to try to find a lost city. I mean, it is kind of pretty straightforward, and you have to absolutely be in disbelief and just ignore all logics in life. But this movie was so much fun, and I agree with so many other people that Brad Pitt's character was amazing. It was just so good, and I wish we would have seen him more. I wish he would have had more screen time, but this movie was just fantastic. And there is a small end of credit scene, so stay tuned for that too. Alright, next we have Choose or Die, which I watched on Netflix, and I also have a review for this, and it is an interesting kind of throwback to the 80s and to the older video games, like the very original video games where all you could do was make decisions like turn left, turn right, answer questions. That was basically what the video game was about. And we follow a girl that is desperate for money and finds this old video game offering a prize if you can beat the game. So of course she decides to play it because she needs the money of the reward, but the game starts to get a little bit more dangerous, and the choices that she makes have actually consequences in real life, and people end up getting hurt. Now I feel like this movie had its problems, like I explained on in my review, but I still felt like it was fresh enough and, you know, interesting enough for people to check out, especially if you love the 80s and you love, you know, older retro video games. I think you're gonna have a blast with this one. And then I decided to watch the new movie inspired by Agatha Christie's books, Death on the Nile. And I gotta say, I didn't like it quite as much as I liked Murder on Orient Express. For me, this one was a little bit too obvious a lot of the time who was gonna be responsible for what, and also the characters here felt a little bit too over the top. I mean, they always are in Agatha Christie's novels, and they were on Murder on Orient Express. I just feel like in this particular movie the characters were really annoying me, and I had a big issue with that. So after that we went to another sneak preview, and we were thinking it was gonna be Morbius, and we were right. So we finally got to watch Morbius, which, by the way, here in the Netherlands the movie was actually released on the 21st of April. So it came really late compared to other countries. I'm not really sure why. So we were able to see the movie just a couple of days before the actual release, but you know, I'll take it. I also have a review on this that should be uploaded by the time you see this video. And honestly, I went with really low expectations to this movie, and I felt like it was not as horrible as I expected it to be. However, the movie is not good. So for me, the problems with this movie was that it was really messy. I mean, the editing was not good, and I felt like they didn't do the character justice. This character is supposed to be really complex. I also hoped that they would have brought a little bit more horror into the movie, since, you know, this is a dark character. And I felt like, you know, just the character didn't get what he deserved. I felt like this movie was really bland, really generic and forgettable. and I was kind of mad about it. And after more views, I made a poor choice, which was to watch one of the new Netflix releases, a movie called The In-Between, and it is about this girl that survives a car crash, but in that same accident she lost her boyfriend, and now she believes that the spirit of her boyfriend is still trying to communicate with her from the afterworld, or from the other world. And yeah, no, very generic, very cliche, nothing new, boring. You can skip this one. And the last two things that I watched on April, actually I rewatched Scream 2022, Scream 5, because, you know, we had a friend that had not seen it, and I recently purchased the 4K edition, so we were like, let's rewatch it, why not? And I still had a lot of fun, same as the first time, really enjoyed it. It was kind of different now to watch it a second time around, because of course now I know who Ghostface is, or who is behind Ghostface in this movie. So it's still one of my top 3 Scream movies. You can watch my full review on the movies and ranking on the video that I did on that. And the last thing that I watched on the month of April was The Twin, by the director of Lake Bottom. I was really excited to see his new horror movie. Also have a review for that. I feel like I'm always saying this in my wrap-up videos, but I also have a review for that one. And I was really excited because I believe in the US is only on video on demand, but here in the Netherlands I was able actually to see it in the cinema in a premiere. So I was able to see it in a big screen, which is always nice. I really like this movie because it merged things that I enjoy, you know, movies like The Omen and Midsommar. It's kind of like a big mix of supernatural and other kind of subgenre of horror. And I really enjoyed what the director was trying to do and how he navigated through those subgenres of horror. And I did enjoy the change of tone and direction. But at the end of the day, I have to be fair, and the movie didn't really have anything extremely original. The horror was not extremely effective, at least not for me. But I think it's still a really good movie, and you should guys check it out if you have the chance. And now let's talk about the 2 TV shows that I did watch in the month of April. So the first one is a TV show that I've been meaning to watch for the longest time, and now that I have HBO, I finally was able to watch it. And that is The Outsider, which is based on a Stephen King thriller that I read and I really enjoyed. This is kind of like a thriller with some horror elements to it, but it's more of a thriller, I would say. And it follows Terry Maitland, who has been accused of the murder of a little kid, and he lives in a small town, so you know, news spread fast. And the detective in charge to solve the murder starts to realize that the clues that he has are kind of contradicting each other, and it is kind of like a bizarre case, so he will have to figure it out, and it's gonna affect him in his personal life as well, because he gets really invested in the case. Now this story has a lot of twists and turns, as well as the book had, and there is a shift of tonality in the show, which the book also had. I would say if you love a good mystery thriller, or if you love Stephen King, you should check it out. However, keep in mind, this is a very slow-paced show, so it is very slow, and it might not be for everybody if you don't like things that take their sweet time to present the characters, the case, and everything. Like, all the episodes are nearly an hour long. I think they are 40-something minutes. Or even longer, some of them, and they are quite slow-paced. And the other show that I watched was on Disney Plus called The Dropout. I was excited to watch this one because honestly I was not aware of the story of Theranos and Elizabeth Holmes, so I decided I'll let the show tell it to me, and then, you know, I will investigate about the real case because I never heard of it. But it is about this really ambitious girl that then turns into a woman that, you know, created these healthcare technology that actually could potentially be a danger for patients, but she was really eager to push through with her invention, and she would do anything to make it happen. I really enjoyed this one more than I thought, because this is more of a drama in a way, and it is portraying her story from when she decides to drop out of college to when she starts her discovery and starts to get people help her with her discovery, tries to get funding. So it's really telling you the whole story from the beginning, from when Theranos was just an idea in her head to later on when it becomes a full company. And I was really interested in this show. I really enjoyed it. I loved Amanda Seyfried as our main character. And yeah, I didn't know about the case and I thought it was fascinating. Alright guys, so this is everything that I watched in the month of April. Let me know down below what you thought about these things that I watched. Let me know also what is the best thing you have watched in April. Let's talk about it in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much as always for watching, and I hope to see you all in our next coffee time. Bye!